Hello, alrighty guys. Welcome back to another session of back testing or not back testing, sorry, of daily recaps where I'm gonna recap this one trade that I did take. Today's date is March 2nd. I took one trade. I got stopped out on a NQ long, and let's just drop straight into it. So, taking a look here on the daily time frame, I did come into the day with a bearish bias, don't get me wrong. I did come into the day with a bearish bias. I wanted to see this low here on YM, and I wanted to see this low here on not that low, sorry, but this low on NQ. However, it did turn around, and the driver confirmed that we were going up higher, and my draw on liquidity then became previous day's high, as we are heading up there now. I'm only jumping out now just because I had to walk away. I was kind of upset that it didn't work out. But yeah, reasoning why I was pretty bearish. I seen that we were pushing down. Yes, we had this daily that C2, but I was looking for 6 a.m. to expand lower just because we had these equal lows that was left below that was still considered untapped. Now, with that consideration of it being untapped, I do want to take notice that there is SMT at it, as ES has already taken it, but there was further lows in draw below us for NQ2 or for NQ to go to, right? And ES. This is just more so looking from a range high. This is kind of a big reason why is range high to range low, and wanting to see this range low as the same thing for YM as well. Going from C2, C3, looking for C4, anticipating the different phase because of this level, but still the equal lows below was pretty fucking obvious for me to go to. So that's why I was leaning more on the bearish end coming into the market. However, market did go and rip up. We do have this V shape, and then we rip upwards. And yeah, my bias got obviously fucking wrong. And this is where you just flip, right? You don't go and stick to the bias all the way through. You flip and you just realize that, okay, this is a V-shaped reversal accumulation, where I was looking at this as more a retracement because of the equal lows that's left below, and accumulation. And I wanted to see the manipulation of this high and then the 15 to press us downwards. Didn't happen, went straight through it, going up for this high. And now my draw on liquidity changes to these low resistance highs that's located here from this original consolidation, manipulation, V-shape, accumulation, and expansion back up to those highs. So that becomes my draw on liquidity right now. And for NQ or for YM, it's going to be those highs there. With that being said, I wait, and then we let it happen, right? So we see that driver does go in reverse price. I'm not bullish anymore. We open up these gaps that we want to see hold, and then we get this 15-minute model as we are tapped in right there. So with this 15-minute C2, I'm anticipating for price to go upwards. Now I missed the driver, so I wait for the 15-minute pullback. Here we have another C2 on YM. I chose NQ because NQ was more bullish in a way, coming off of this driver here. So I do see that we impact a relevant level. So with this relevant level getting impacted, this is where I'm waiting for that failure to manipulate. I cannot just enter off that 15-minute closure, right? So this is your 10 a.m. opening low and expanding away for that 15-minute C2, and then the C2 closes here. I cannot just enter right away because we do tap into a relevant level. My stop loss would be considered exposed. So I wait for that failure to manipulate standard, where we're going to close over the OB. That is going to tell us that, okay, we're going upwards now. So why did I enter on NQ rather than YM? Because YM is making a deeper retracement here, and it does not have that same CISD as NQ has. So with that being said, this would be our new 15-minute open at 45. And then this is where I'm like taking that look from, sorry, that's not the 15-minute open. That's the 15-minute open, right? So we do see that push down lower. This 15-minute candle does not support bullish expansion, so I wait for it, and then we get another 15-minute C2, which not only is it a 15-minute C2, but it is also a 15-minute OB as well. So now I can anticipate for this low to be considered protected. So I enter not on the closure. I enter on a pull back into the range just because of RR purposes. I want to see these gaps hold price up to the upside. So we get tapped in on my first position here, and that's where my first position gets entered. For me to get up to those highs, I was looking for just 2R, as that's my draw on liquidity there. Then price does make a move down lower, and then at the 11 o'clock opening now, it flips inside out and we have that bullish push. With that bullish push, I get this CISD that's located here. From the CISD that's located here, I didn't enter on this candle, I entered more on this candle, like midpoint of this candle when we see it closing here. So it's like right there. So my average entry fill, oh shit, 50%. My average entry gets put in right about here. Yeah, it's actually exactly where it was. Right, was right about here, and then my stop loss went to the 11 a.m. low, as I do not want to see the 11 a.m. low because of this OB. This is an 11 a.m. open, low, high, close, and we start to expand away. So now, with that being said, with that scale in, my stop loss goes up to right there, and we are just aiming for 2R, and then it goes up, comes back down, stops me out. I was okay with holding price out open up until this high. Once this high gets impacted on either NQ or ES, as this is just a previous day's level, which it never got impacted on YM, not NQ or ES, YM before going break even. But as you can tell, YM didn't get tapped into, and we just ran short. So in terms of my executions and everything like that, it looked like this. So I just got fucking got chopped out of it, right? So here's my first execution there. Boom. Wait for a nice scale in position, more confirmation that we were going up higher. This was your 11 a.m. open, low, high, close. So I'm anticipating for that 11 a.m. to stay. Next execution was somewhere in here, and then my stop loss was to there, and then we would wait, and we got stopped out completely. Does market go up to my 2R that I wanted to see, which was only up to this high? So that was the big reasons why I wanted to scale in, just because this is your easy to draw to liquidity pool, rather than going for the full fucking liquidity pool that is located up there. So if I was to just hold it open at my original positioning, I would have survived. Don't get me wrong, I would have survived and just accepted the risk on that first one. Would have got me my 2R. Unfortunately, I trailed my stop losses to that 11 a.m. low, which I thought the 11 a.m. low was going to stay intact already, as we are just trading these hourly expansion candles. We had an 11 a.m. open, low, high, close already, and that was just telling me that we could possibly just keep on continuing from there. I was trading away from a 15-minute swing formation as well. We also had a very strong 15-minute closure, and that's all telling me things like, okay, we shouldn't see these 15-minute lows, as it's a propulsion block. But what did survive here, and what could have been done better in order for me to stay in on this position, was just playing that 15-minute OB just the way that I did play it, and holding that 15-minute OB like that, and just holding it all the way for 2R, and that would have got me to my 2R much nicer and cleaner. Yeah, and that's just that, bro. That's just your 10 a.m. open, low, high, close, setting the low of that 10 a.m. Oh no, actually came back, and then that was your push. But yeah, got chopped out of that one. -1R on the day, and yeah, first day back, and -1R got chopped out. How I could have done better, not do the scale in, but I scaled in for good reason. Trying to figure out how I could have done better, you know what I mean? I scaled in for good reason. I did well. I will say I did very well on the whole tap into relevant, wait for the different phase, wait for the new swings to form, which I did. And we did wait for that new phases to form, wait for the new phases to pass, give me that failure to manipulate standards, which is going to be the continuation through it. And then I'm looking for the continuation entries, looking for these gaps to hold price up to the upside, so that way we can trade up higher. My first entry was gangsta, not gonna lie, but the rest of them got chopped out. And reasoning why I didn't want to just hold on to that, because I didn't want to aim for big targets. Possibly could have just accepted the risk on that first one there, and yeah, I just seen that once these candle closures like this, you shouldn't need to see us you shouldn't need to see this low anymore, right? Because that's your new OB creation, and we should just keep expanding. So the trail is valid. The trail is valid. And even like the scale is valid as well. So your scale in positions like that, right? The scale is valid as well because this is your 1 hour low. Either way, that's kind of why I didn't want to use this low here. Is like if this low was to get manipulated, if this low where my stop loss was gonna get manipulated, it was gonna manipulate the entire thing. So with that being said, I realistically only went right there, right? So valid scale, my personal opinion. Yeah, fuck, we just got manipulated out. Shitty price action, just shitty delivery, really. The 15-minute swing did go and deliver just the way that we wanted it to, and it actually delivered to 2R. So, super unfortunate there, right? Fuck. Yeah. Why was I not moved to break even? Yeah, that's that. I'm sorry. Not entirely sure what happened there. Not entirely sure. Um, how could I have done better, bro? Not do the scaling and just hold open the 15-minute swing as the 15-minute OB did stay intact. Everything else on that lower time frame was just noise. So what I'm studying here is the 15-minute OB did stay intact as it should have. And it was very strong OB closure and everything like that. So something to study, right? The 15-minute OBs always stay intact. 15-minute OB stays intact, stays intact, stays intact, stays intact. This one, not really a 15-minute OB, but once we get it, stays intact, right? Stays intact. And then we keep going and traveling upwards. So something to take notice of, but I did go and manage it exactly how I always manage it, right? And this was the model I'm trying to play, as this is my draw and liquidity that's located up here, right? All of this low resistance liquidity, V-shape reversal, driver reversal, looking for all of this shit to be considered my draw, which it did hit, but fucking, like I said, minus 1R on the day. Unfortunately, yeah, that's that. And if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next session. Gotta do better. Not entirely happy with the way that it was managed, but minus 1R, it's fine. You know what I mean? But I'll catch you guys in the next session. Peace.